Bim! Guess what? It's Sunday, it's 8 o'clock exactly. Bloody hell. And that can only mean one thing. It's time for What a Week That Was, where we look at what a week it was. If it was a week, was it a week? It was a week. Was it a week that was, or was it a week? Anyway, lots of stuff to go on. Stuff we're going to talk about today is Donald Trump being charged, Imran Khan being jailed, more oil. Is it a bear or is it a person? Bear or person? Yes, we've got a guest appearance from Silence. Oi, no. And Dora the Explorer. Is it a bear or is it a person? Anyway, digress. So we will start with the usual, which is Sunday. And what happened on Sunday? The answer is I don't know, because I can't get the thing to load. Oi! Just got to think about trying to jump up behind the thing in a minute. Go and sit at the windowsill like you were before when I was setting up. You silly sod. Hello, Smiley Mac. You're watching me from that there London. How's it going down in that there London, mate? Smiley Mac's on a basically a safari in London. Want a better description. And he's there for 5 years. How are you finding the underground as well? I love the underground. I think the underground's fantastic. It's also scary, but it's fantastic. Don't forget what I said as well. Keep to the side that most people keep to the side of when you're going up down an escalator, so that people who run up and down escalators can get past without knocking you over. Good advice. I only do good advice. I talk crap, but I do good advice. Anyway, we digress. We need to get on with the Muse. There's no guest appearance from Muse or Royal Blood tonight. What are you doing now? Oh, you just sat there. Okay. Yeah, it's that time of the week again. It's going to be good. The underground is fun. I've been up since 5 a.m. Jesus, that's not good. That is not good at all. I was the one running up them. Oh, fair enough. Right, we start off with some sad news. Basically, a suicide bomber in Pakistan on Sunday killed at least 40 people. Just seems to be ongoing, unfortunately, in Pakistan. Meanwhile, Zelensky says war is coming to Russia as Putin is at a Navy Day in St. Petersburg. And I'll be honest with you, if that guy tells you that war is coming to where you are, I'll tell you what, war is coming to where you are. And I don't blame him. Anyway, that was it. It was a quiet Sunday. It's been a quiet week. We're going drinking soon, so I'll be leaving. Ah, fair play. 25 quid a pint, mate. We get to drink prices in a bit, actually. We then got a Monday, and on Monday, Rishi Sunak said that there's going to be another 100 licences, or thereabouts, for new oil and gas supplies from the North Sea. What are you doing? And I'm getting heckled by a bloody cat. IJT, IRH, hope you're all good. So Rishi says we need to reduce our reliance on imports, which will also reduce carbon emissions from them. I mean, it's a weak argument, but I kind of agree that we do need to reduce our reliance on people like Russia or Europe for our oil and gas. Yes, we're phasing out oil and gas. Yes, we're going to go carbon neutral. No, it won't make any difference to the perceived climate change. But yes, we do need to keep the lights on while we get to that. And the only way to do it and be reliant on it is to actually use what oil and gas we've got left in the North Sea. Now, obviously, it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take a few years for it to actually come online. But by then, we could be in a much worse position. If we don't do anything now, and we just think, oh, everything will be all right. We're not going to build nuclear power stations in 5 minutes. We're not going to cover the entire country with wind farms, because they're pointless, because it's not windy all the time, although you wouldn't believe that what's been going on recently. And solar panels, well, they're useless. So yeah, Luke Williams, Hi, Luke. On, on a surprising note, the teaching unions, who've been on strike quite a bit, decided to accept the 6.5% rise, which means there's going to be no more strikes. 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 Well, not for the schools anyway. They've actually seen sense, to be fair. Meanwhile, Tuesday came along, as habit doing that. Donald Trump, whoa, everyone's favourite nutter, said he will be indicted over his involvement with the Capitol Hill riots on January the 6th. And he was saying that on Tuesday. And everyone was like, yeah, you probably will, to be fair. Meanwhile, the Scottish SNP Member of Parliament was being kicked out by constituents. She's a woman who wouldn't go, but she's actually an independent now. She was an SNP. She got COVID, and she's the one who travelled on a train to and from London whilst testing positive for COVID when you weren't supposed to do that. Anyway, she's lost her job, and absolutely brilliant. No more spikes till they'll strike again. Orange Tuesdays. I should have been waiting for a 30% boost. Annoying orange. Yeah, we all love the orange. Yeah. House prices fall 4.5%, which is the largest drop since the crisis in 2008/9. Tens of thousands of people. Did you see the oil thing? Not the oil thing. Did you see that picture? It was a pretty picture. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that. No, anyway, there you go. There's a pretty picture of the prices coming down. Meanwhile, tens of thousands flee Beijing after severe floods. Again, places are burning, places are flooding. We're on the borderline of flooding, but sadly, yeah, the planet's weather is screwed. Ukraine said Russia must expect more attacks on their soil. And in Moscow, this is an apartment block that had a missile enter it. And yeah, basically the war is moving into Russia. And Putin is still standing by his guns. And here we go, this is the alcohol stuff. Alcohol duty is changing. So, if you have sparkling wine, it's going to cost 19p less than it did before. If you have beer, it's 4p more in shops, but no change in pubs. Vodka is 76p more, but that's 37.5 ABV. Alcohol by volume. You don't know what ABV stands for. Cider, I got a cider drinker. 1p more in shops, but 1p less in pubs. That's going to make a huge difference, isn't it, to the pubs? I mean, all the energy prices going up. Look at the Rover's return; it's on its knees, and yeah, they're doing that. Red wine is going up to 44p a bottle. Sherry, people still drink sherry. 97p more tax. Now that's because only old people drink sherry, and they've got more money because all old people are rich. Obvs, not. Port. Who the drinks port? £1.30 for a 75 cl bottle. So yeah, it's been it was not a good day if you were an alcohol drinker. Now, I bought this on Tuesday. Cutting down on the Guinness. I've literally bought 2 4-packs, and I've still got 2 cans left, which is good for me. Very good for me indeed. So it just proves I can do it. Anyway, Wednesday came along. As I've been doing that after Tuesday. And what happened on Wednesday? Well, it's Donald Trump. Whoa, yay! Trump is to appear in court tomorrow. Says it's like a Nazi persecution. No, it's not. Let's be honest. That is a very ill choice of words. But it's Donald Trump. He's a pillock, so what do you expect? Pardon me. Justice was served. The stepdad of a 10-month-old baby, Jacob Crouch, has been found guilty of murder. Poor Jacob, literally not even a toddler, 10 months old, was found unresponsive with multiple broken bones and injuries in his cot. And the guy there, I'm not going to name him, he's going to go to prison for a very long while, and hopefully, while he's in there, gets what he deserves. His girlfriend and Jacob's mum is also going to prison for allowing it to happen or even assisting in the murder. We will find out what happens with that, but tragedy. Poor kid, I mean, 10 months, it's not even a fucking life, is it? Lizzo is a pop singer. Nah, me neither. Anyway, turns out she's been going for large women because she is a large woman. She admits that. She says, "Yeah, I'm proud of my body. I want all my backing dancers and everyone to be larger women. I don't want to make people feel, that they need to lose weight to look like me, and I don't want, to put pressure on people like a lot of people do, influencers and things like that." So you're thinking, yeah, this is great. Turns out that there are some issues with her. Happen, maybe, allegedly. 3 of her former dancers say that she's fat shaming, bullying, and even some sexual misconduct. I'm not exactly sure what that means. And yeah, Lizzo basically went very quiet and didn't say anything. But don't worry, she'll be back. Meanwhile, a couple of animal stories, or are they? Are orcas targeting fishing vessels as a game, or are they doing it because they think they are a threat? Now, from underneath the water, a fishing vessel doesn't look like a fishing vessel. It looks like a whale or something silly, something similar, i.e. Not a competitor, I suppose it would be a challenger for their area, for wherever they are, for the fish that are in that area, etc, etc, etc. And obviously things are getting warmer in the sea, so fish is getting more scarce, so it's more important that you protect the fish that you've got in your area. So I'm thinking that these orcas are actually attacking in defence, but people are thinking it's just a game, they think it's funny. People are more likely to be attacked by sharks, etc., if they are on a surfboard than if they are not. But again, that's because from underneath they look like a seal. So I can only imagine from underneath they look like I say, a competitive mammal, and therefore they need attacking. I don't think necessarily orcas have a way of thinking of something as a game. I don't think that's how their minds work. I've never spoke to an orca, nor has anyone else. It's just one of them things. But yeah, it's just a bit bonkers what is going on at the minute. And they are attacking quite a lot of boats. A couple of them they've damaged to the point where they could have sunk, but they haven't. So I don't think they're after the people on the boat. I think they're just thinking that the boat is a threat to their survival. So fair play as far as I'm concerned. Seems reasonable enough. Again, we are in their area. An area where some animals shouldn't be are zoos. And in China, there is a zoo in a... Sorry. There is a zoo which has got these bears. I did write down what they were, but I forgot what they were now. Yeah, oh, this was actually on Wednesday, so I just pretend it still says Wednesday. Yeah, this bear, and it waves to people. Now, we've had bears waving to people before. We've all seen the picture of, or the video of that bear, rather large bear, sat on its bum, the other side of a fence, and people drive past in a car, they throw it a couple of slices of bread, it catches them, it eats them, and then it waves at them because they're waving back. And I can imagine a bear, bored out of its skull, which is known for going on its hind legs and walking around a little bit, that's probably Bigfoot, although they're not that big to be fair, is likely to do what it sees other things that look like bears, i.e. us, doing to them, which is waving, because for some reason humans think that we need to wave to everything. I mean, I even wave to my cat. If I pull up outside the house and the cat's on the windowsill, I'll wave at her from the car. I'd myself if she actually waved back. But yeah, it's... But yeah, some Should be in zoos to help repopulate them, but would be better wild. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Zoos serve a purpose more now than they did in the oldie days. 100 years ago, zoos were more of a freak show than anything else, and the animals were taken out of captivity, put in very small cages, handled really badly, fed the wrong food, and had a miserable life. At least nowadays, they get regular rumpy pumpy, they get better food, and life's better for them. But yeah, not as good as being in the wild, although generally they do live longer as well these days, whereas previously they didn't live as long, so things are getting better. Luke's done a wavy emoji, so I'm waving back. Oh, I'm not doing it right. Right, anyway. Is it a bear, or is it a man? Or a woman, obviously. Nobody knows. Lots of people seem to care. As they do for Donald Trump being in court. This is Thursday now. Trump is in court in Washington DC and pleads not guilty to 4 charges against him. Of course he would plead not guilty, but yeah. Bear with Elder. Thank you. Meanwhile, over here, interest rates have gone up again to 4.25%. No, it's actually 5.25%. So ignore that. That's out of date. I'm showing you an old one. That's to March 2023. So since March 2023, it's got up another percent and another 14-year high. They say it's to reduce inflation, but I just think it's targeting people who can't afford to pay so much more money. I mean, my mortgage has gone up by over £200, and I've got a tiny mortgage. If you've got a mortgage that's more realistic, i.e. two and a half, well, like £250,000 or 200,000 or whatever, then your mortgage will have gone up over £1,000, probably even more than that, and that's a lot of money. Do you have the man who's now a dog? Yes, the man with the dog is coming up. Meanwhile, Wilko's, which I have mentioned a few times, have said that they are now on the brink of collapse and intend to appoint administrators. They've got 400 shops and 12,000 workers. Hopefully, things will work out for them and the people who work for them. But the problem I see is who's going to invest in a company like that? The only people who've got that kind of money are B&Ms. But B&Ms have got as many shops, if not more shops, than Wilko's have got. So why would you buy a company and double up your floor space and expenses in a town where you're already making money? You'd have to shut one of them down. So what's the point of buying a company to shut it down when, if you don't buy it, you're not spending any money and it'll probably shut down anyway? Ruthless, but unfortunately that's the way businesses work. Someone might come from outside it, the industry, but I think even House of Fraser Group, formerly known as Sports Direct, I think they also are finding things a little bit tight. Yeah, it was on Wigan Watch breaking news, because it happened on the day. We've had 2 breaking newses on Wigan Watch in 2 Wigan Watchers, which is shocking. Meanwhile, Greenpeace attacked the house of Rishi Sunak. Now, Rishi Sunak and his family are currently on holiday, but he's got some fairly young children. They're not toddlers. I think they're teenagers. I don't really know, I'll be honest. And they were protesting over these 100 plus licences that are going to be given out. And Rishi keeps saying, well, look, we need to do this because we need to keep the lights on in Britain, which we do. What I don't agree with is them attacking his house for a number of reasons, least of which is he's got young children. If you want to attack Rishi, or if you want to protest, then go to Downing Street, go to the Houses of Parliament. Don't go to his house. His kids sleep in that house. They're going to be terrified now that any noise they hear is going to be some loony trying to break in or climbing on the roof. I just don't get. I mean, I've never got Greenpeace, to be honest. I get what they're trying to do. I just don't get the methods of doing it. They're not as bad as Just Stop Oil, I'll be honest with you. But you don't attack people's private houses. If it was Chequers, yeah, okay, fair enough. If it was Downing Street, yeah, okay, fair enough. But you don't attack someone's home where children sleep. The kids are going to be terrified next time they go there. And people don't think of things like that. They just think of, oh, we can't do any more oil, oh, we have to save the planet. As I've said many times before, if England, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, and even Southern Ireland, just disappeared off the planet and could not be repopulated, every member, every human, every animal just disappeared with it, it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference to global warming. All this is absolute bullshit, and it just does my nutting. You go in there, oh, where you go? Security, just let them walk right on in. Yeah, clothing shops finding stuff tight is an issue. No, that's just you putting on weight, Smiley Mac. Hiya, Alan. Another waving. We're getting lots of waving today. I'm not a bear, by the way, in China. But yeah, I think protests like this are a disgrace. And I think these people, they've been released on bail. Like, no, lock the fuckers up. You just don't attack people's houses, more so when they're kids. You might not like Rishi Sunak, you might not like his wife, but the kids have done nothing wrong. It's not their fault mum and dad are hated by people. Why should you target their house where those kids are meant to feel safe? I mean, I know what it's like. I got robbed, 3-4 years ago. Someone broke into, smashed the way into the house. Might be a little bit longer than that actually now. But even now, years later, I wasn't in the house at the time, I still feel uneasy. I still check the doors about 20 times every time before I go to bed. Every noise I hear, all that kind of thing. And I'm a grown adult. We're talking about children. It doesn't matter whether they're 9, 12, 15, 18. Doesn't matter. The problem is you have ruined their home life for a protest which is a complete tosh anyway. Just go to, if you're that upset, go to Saudi Arabia and protest there. If you're that upset, go to China and get them to stop with their greenhouse emissions. If you're that upset, go to India and get them to stop the greenhouse emissions. If you're that upset, go and chat to Biden and Trump and get them to stop their greenhouse emissions as well, because they're the countries that are going to make the difference. It doesn't matter what we do, it makes no difference whatsoever. So target people without kids. No, target people at their place of work. Target people who are the decision makers by all means, but don't target their private houses where their children sleep at night. Those kids, when they go back there, they're going to know this social media. They're going to know that their house that they think is safe has been attacked by 5 or 6 nutters. They're not going to feel safe in that house again, and I don't think that's right. Like I said, if you want to if you want to protest about something, that is absolutely fine. That is you're allowed to do that. We are a democracy in that way. You have a freedom of speech, but you do not. There is a line that needs to be drawn, and Just Stop Oil just go over that line on numbers and numbers and numbers of occasions. And Greenpeace, they do as well. I mean, these people are the loons. They should all be locked up. Number 10 tomorrow, using Elder's advice. Yeah, I'd buy yourself a bulletproof vest before I tried anything at number 10, I'll be honest with you. Meanwhile, Lizzo, who cares, said that the accusations are false. But the other 3 have gone public and said, well, no, they're not. We are right. She is a bully and a nasty piece of work. I can't comment because I've never met her, but I'm going off what they say, or I'm repeating what they say. But I genuinely don't really care. Meanwhile, in Russia, the leader of the opposition, Navalny, has been sentenced to 19 years in prison for forming and creating an anti-Russia propaganda party stroke extreme group, allegedly. He's just a member of the opposition, but no, he's going to prison for 19 years because that's what happens in Putin's world. To be fair, I'm amazed he didn't fall out of a hotel window or a prison window, to be fair. Meanwhile, a drone attack on a ship in a Russian harbour has basically immobilised a massive warship, and we got the footage off of the actual drone itself as it went to the ship. Prison. He didn't fall from a window. No, he didn't fall from a window. He's gone to prison. I know. As of these two are TikTok influencers. and they've been found guilty of murder following a car chase against two men who were, I think one was the ex-boyfriend of one of the women, it's mother and daughter, and yeah, it kind of escalated into a car chase. The men were rammed off the road and were killed. So these two TikTok influencers are going to prison for murder, and they will be there again for a long while. Which brings us, remarkably, to today. Like I say, it's been a quite a quiet week this week for news, which is not a bad thing necessarily. And this is almost breaking news, but not quite. Imran Khan has been put in prison for 3 years, just for being Imran Khan, i.e. if he's in prison, unlike in America, you cannot become president or stand for an election, unlike in America. So he's in prison, elections are coming up soon, and they can't do anything about it. Influencers now just parasites, absolutely. Meanwhile, in South Korea, now we always think of South Korea being a really cool country, in more ways than one. However, at the moment, it is scorchio, and there are 40,000 plus scouts in there for their annual jamboree, and the conditions that they're living in are absolutely disgraceful. I think migrants in Calais are getting treated better. Okay, there's unprecedented heat, but apparently the toilets are basically unfit. They are full instantly as they've been cleaned. The food is terrible, if there is any at all, and there's no shelter from the heat, so many of the youngsters have been taken ill, and some have ended up in hospital. The British contingent and the American contingent have quit the outdoor campsite and have gone to air-conditioned hotels in Seoul, which isn't nearby, but then they're going to do some stuff in Seoul, which will be entertaining for the youngsters, which is good. I was in the Boy Scouts, as it was called then, for one meeting, or whatever you call it. I just turned 11, and I've been a Cub Scout. I've been a Sixer, which is a leader. Obviously, they knew early on, dib 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 and all that I'm a natural born leader. So I was the leader of my group, and I was looking forward to joining the Scouts. But on our first Scouts meeting, I went from being a leader to being like the runt of the litter. And they played a game where you had to run the whole length of the hall and take off an item of clothing, which freaked me out a little bit. Not for the sexuality of it, more for the fact that everyone else was big, fat, airy beasts, and I was like this little skinny white thing. So yeah, I just felt very uncomfortable, so I never went back again. Nothing happened, it was just a weird experience. But yeah, I just didn't. I mean, not naked. You had your vest and your underpants on, but it was still weird. Anyway, that's. I'm sure it's better than that now. Anyway, that's it for the week's world news. However, of course, we do move on to la 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 America. What's going on in America? I think it's good in America, as long as you don't get shot in America. So yeah, what's going on in America? Well, not a lot this week, I must be honest. It's quite a light week this week. But first up is everyone's favourite ex-president, apart from every other ex-president ever. It's Donald Trump. And he says he did not order the Mar-a-Lago security tapes to be deleted, which he was accused of. He basically has been accused of having the security cameras tapes completely obliterated, so that no one could see who was bringing all the stuff in and what was going on, and who he was showing all the secret documents to, and all that kind of thing. And he's saying no, and he called the prosecutor deranged. He vehemently denies directing a staffer to delete security footage at Mar-a-Lago's. I believe him. I think he's a very honest, trustworthy guy. Daredevil, known for high-rise stunts, is dead after falling from the 68th floor. That would do it, I'll be honest with you. A Frenchman who's known for the extreme sports is dead after falling off the 68th story of a Hong Kong residential tower block. Remy Lucy, 30, was climbing the Tregunta Tower complex when he fell, according to the South China Morning Post. He was known as Remy Enigma. He was pronounced dead at the scene. He would be. You would think, though, that if you're doing something like that, you'd have some kind of parachute on your back. Obviously, a lightweight one, not a full one, but a lightweight one. But I suppose you need the mobility. But yeah, tragic. These things do happen. Judge blocks Arkansas law allowing librarians to be criminally charged over harmful materials. And you're like, what? Arkansas is temporarily blocked from enforcing a law that would have allowed criminal charges against librarians and booksellers for providing harmful materials to minors, a federal judge ruled. So basically what it means is if you sell a book or someone rents a book out and then it is deemed harmful, then you could face criminal charges and be fined and or go to prison for it. And by harmful these days, that could be even giving them a book with the word someone is fat in it. Maybe a Roald Dahl book that hasn't been redacted and modified and changed. It's not just about, violence and sex and all that kind of stuff, which is your standard stuff that you wouldn't give to minors. But this is, these days, that could be anything. That could be a book that maybe says that, it could be a textbook that says there are only two genders, men and women. There are no other genders. That could be offensive and harmful to some people. It could be a book that says that people who have certain genitalia are different than what it baffles me. It baffles me. I like the word baffle, but yeah, it's just weird. Anyway, a judge in America has actually got a few brain cells and figured out that's complete nonsense. A pilot is rescued off the New Hampshire beach after his plane crashes into the ocean. I say he, I'm guessing it was a he. Doesn't say actually, so they. Lifeguards were caught on camera rushing to save a pilot of a small plane that crashed off the shore in New Hampshire. Emergency crews responded to Hampton Beach about 20 minutes south of Portsmouth, in America, not the UK, after the plane crashed close to shore shortly after noon. Yeah. Book about matches. Yeah, oh, hiya Tom Minus. Hope you're good. Meanwhile, no guns yet. 3 killed after small plane crashes into hangar at California airport and then catches fire. I don't think the fire would have done it. I think the fact that the plane crashed into a hangar would have killed them. But anyway, we get the full information that the plane did catch fire as well. 3 people were killed when a single-engine plane crashed into a hangar as it tried to take off from a South California airport just outside Los Angeles. The Beechcraft P-35 burst into flames on impact at 6:30 a.m. Hello, Artemis. Oh, here we go. Indiana mass shooting leaves 1 person dead and at least 19 others injured. A mass shooting at a block party in Muncie, Indiana, early Sunday left 1 person dead and at least 19 others injured. Dispatchers received a call of multiple people shot in the area of Hess Hackley Street. I don't know where that is on the body, but I imagine it's painful. At 1:14 a.m. There was a large party at the location, and there were multiple victims. Sadly, someone has passed away. New Mexico father and teen son charged in fatal shooting of 13-year-old girl. A New Mexico father and his teen son were both booked after the 14-year-old shot and killed a 13-year-old girl using one of his dad's weapons. The teen boy pointed the gun at the girl and then fired while the group of 4 juveniles rang it out and listening to music inside the boy's Cuesta home around 2:30 p.m. So again, why are you leaving guns out where there are kids? Because kids show off, and teenagers definitely show off. Mum of woman hit by stray bullet in Lower East Side blast ridiculous New York City crime. We've been doing this for, ever. The mother of a 28-year-old woman hit by a stray bullet while sitting in a car on the Lower East Side over the weekend blasted New York crime as ridiculous. She said her heart dropped when she found out her daughter was a victim of a brazen daylight hour shooting. As an innocent bystander sitting in your car and then all of a sudden you were hit, that's insane. You say too, Luke. We're still going. Adams claims victory as New York City shootings dropped by 26% in last year, but gun violence is still 34% higher than 2019. So it's like, yeah, we're doing a great job because gun violence has gone down. Yeah, but it's gone up exponentially since 2019. He spent millions trying to sort it out, but yeah, here we go. Stray dogs, stray bullets. Yeah, exactly. Meghan and Harry have last chance to salvage their image during industry shutdown, so says an expert. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry may look to make a major business move as Hollywood's strikes rage on, according to a film expert. Filmmaker Paul Dudridge claimed that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex could utilise the strike to their advantage, and he said it could be their last chance to salvage their image. So basically what he's saying is they become, what are they called? People who go across picket lines. Them, anyway. Yeah. Scabs. They could become scabs. And, yeah, start making TV shows and things like that and get their image back. But I don't think it's going to work for them at all. Meanwhile, parts of Los Angeles County are under quarantine due to invasive Tay fruit fly native to Asia. A portion of California's Los Angeles County has been placed under quarantine after an invasion of fruit flies that's native to Asia was spotted in the area. Nearly 80 square miles are under quarantine in an effort to stop the Tay fly from reproducing and taking over the area after more than 20 flies were discovered in Stevenson Ranch. So yeah, it's a monster as well. Well, it's not, it's tiny, but dangerous. Soldier continues to watch over tomb of unknown soldier as hurricane force winds rain lash DC area. Arlington National Cemetery, as a powerful winds gust whipped trees on to the ground in the Arlington National Cemetery, a lone soldier continued their watch over the tomb of the unknown soldier as rain lashed the area during a severe storm. Soldiers from the 3rd US Infantry Regiment, known as the Old Guard, stood watch over the tomb. And I think that is a decent, nice thing to do, and it is a mark of respect. And yeah, top marks to the army for once. Meanwhile, in America, they're looking at bears in China. Zoo confirms standing waving human bear is real and it is natural behaviour. They're the bearer of good news, experts say. Surreal video of a Malaysian sun bear, there you go, captured in China's Hangzhou Zoo is legitimate. Over the weekend, footage of the bear seen standing upright and waving to crowds inside the enclosed area at the zoo, sparking speculation that the creation was actually an employee clad in a costume. But managers of Paradise Wildlife Park in Herefordshire, England, said, no, that's a real bear, that's what they do, ours does it as well. But, this, yeah, hi Alan, yeah, waving again, we're all waving again. But, yeah, more of the bear later. Tanker truck erupts into flames after collision on Texas highway. A tanker truck collided with another vehicle on a Texas highway on Wednesday, causing the truck to erupt into large flames that took hours to extinguish. The tanker truck collided with another vehicle around 5 a.m. on the US Highway 75 in Plano, Texas. The truck driver lost control of the vehicle for unknown reasons, causing it to roll onto its side, hitting another 18-wheeler and a car. The truck driver and the driver of the other vehicle were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, which is the only good thing to come out of that. Frustrated Lufthansa pilot draws a penis in the sky after flight was forced to divert. That's a ballsy move. It's not my saying, that's what they've written on here. A Lufthansa pilot allegedly upset over being forced to divert his flight from Katona flew the commercial plane in a penis-shaped pattern before landing in Malta. Flight 306 took off from Frankfurt in Germany on Friday and was bound for the Sicilian city until the plane was warned mid-flight that it could not land. It was seeing at the airport because it was seeing reduced operations following a terminal computer failure. So he was so angry, he drew a penis in the sky. Takes some balls to do that. Yes, indeed, Luke. A 3,000-year-old meteorite found by lake was used as an extraterrestrial weapon, say scientists. And you're like, wow, you're telling me that a 3,000-year-old meteorite was a weapon from space? Well, not really. Ancient warriors were using steroids to gain an advantage in battle. Aliens might not have built the ancient pyramids, but ancient humans apparently employed alien weaponry. Researchers have discovered that a 3,000-year-old arrowhead found in Switzerland was actually comprised of meteorite, proving that extraterrestrial weapons aren't just relegated to science fiction flicks. Yeah, so basically, 3,000 years ago, they found this rock which had metal in it, and they made a arrowhead out of it, and they're saying now that it's the same as a phaser or a lightsaber. And you're like, no, it's not. It's just a lump of metal that had a lump of rock that had metal in it that they used to make something. It's nothing to do with it being alien. Even says that the metals are not even found on the planet in the state that they were in that. So yeah, obviously. I mean, what they probably did, to be fair, wasn't meteorite. They just melted down E.T. spaceship. Company list jobs ad for non-woke employee. No requirements for pronouns. No, it's not me. A small IT business in rural Western Australia has gained a lot of attention in recent days after posting a job advertisement with a very unusual requirement. Wallace Computer Solutions, a small IT support business, recently posted an ad searching for a non-woke MSP L2 Plus technician to join the team. We're looking for an MSP technician who is now looking for a position in the company who is not woke. Good luck with that. King Tut's ceremony dagger was made from a meteorite. Well, there you go then. And that's even older. Could Trump run from office if convicted and then pardon himself if elected? Yeah, who says American laws aren't screwed? But yeah, he can do that. He can be in prison, he can become elected as president, and then as president, he can pardon himself and then get released from prison. Genius. Russians tortured in Kherson prisons using genital electrocution. Nearly half the Ukrainians held by Russian troops in detention centres in Kherson encountered widespread torture and sexual violence, some even being subjected to genital electrocution. War crime investigators said in a report released this week. They analysed 320 cases of imprisonment across 35 detention centres and have found at least 43% of victims explicitly mentioned practices involving their sexual organs. Lovely. Anything can happen over there. Yeah, that is true. Sadly. You're on about America, aren't you? Stowaways rescued after 14-day odyssey with dwindling supplies and forced to drink own urine. Four Nigerian stowaways were captured in gripping images on top of a cargo ship's rudder after they survived a 14-day journey during which they ran out of food and drank their own urine. The migrants, who hoped to reach Europe, were shocked to find they had actually arrived in Brazil after the roughly 3,500-mile journey sailing on the Liberian-flagged vessel. I mean, 10 out of 10 for effort. You've got to give them that. How the hell they've got from Africa to Brazil without being drowned? I mean, the seas are not calm. The Atlantic is not a calm sea. But, yeah, fair play to them. That shows kahunas. We're not going on a little dinghy though, we're going on a big boat. But we're not going on the big boat, we're going under the big boat on the rudder. Alaska child fatally shoots another child with rifle during a Nerf fight. A child fatally shot another when they got their hands on a loaded gun while playing in an Alaskan home. The two kids were playing with toy Nerf guns at 1:45 a.m. In a mountain village, an indigenous town located 470 miles northwest of Anchorage. One child picked up a loaded rifle and pulled the trigger, killing the other one. The second child was dead by the time the police arrived. Why do you leave a loaded rifle around where children can get it? That's 2 accidental killings of children. Boston cop violently... Oh, this is hilarious. Boston cop violently launched off massive park slide in viral video. If you haven't seen it online, you may have seen it on The Last Leg last night. You haven't seen it, and you can't be arsed looking it up, if you just go on 4 or 4 on demand or whatever the hell it's called, and load up last night's Last Leg and then go to the last 10 minutes of The Last Leg, you'll see it there. It's hilarious. Basically, he gets on this slide, which is designed for kids, and I assume, because he's got all the stuff attached to his belt, it's raised him up. So instead of the static from his clothes slowing him down, it didn't. He basically slid. But because it's a twisted one as well, when he came out, he was actually face down and just slid along the ground and probably lost half his face. But it was hilarious, and I do recommend you look it up, because it was hilarious, my dear boy. And he does say something rude. Everything you need to know about the new incandescent light bulb ban. Now, this is in America. Incandescent light bulb sales have been effectively banned across the US in the culmination of a 16-year-old legislative effort aimed at cutting energy costs for consumers and reducing the nation's carbon emissions. The ban came into effect on August the 1st, leaving Americans to light their homes and businesses with much more energy-efficient LED bulbs going forward. I changed every single bulb in my house to LED, and I know I live on my own and all that, but 60 quid, and even when I've got the heating on, it'll basically do me a month of electricity, even in the winter. It makes a hell of a difference. So yeah, if you haven't done it, it costs a bit to get them in, but if you haven't done it already, get LEDs. They are amazing. A Russian woman interrogated and fined for a photo of a bag saying, "Sex is cool, but Putin's death is better." A Russian woman claims she was interrogated and fined just for sharing a photo of a tote bag that said Vladimir Putin's death would be better than sex. Alexandra, who declined to give her surname, was ordered to pay 30,000 rubles, or about $317, for discrediting the Russian military under the article of the Code of Administrative Offences. She's lucky she wasn't accidentally pushed out of a upper floor of a department store while she was looking for a new bag. A New York City woman sues crane operators after collapse that rained debris down on her while in her car. It's the first lawsuit of the incident. You remember last week we showed you the crane on fire and then collapsing partially, thank God. Not all of it, but the debris came down, and she's suing them for damage to her car. Indiana mum of 2 collapses and dies from drinking too much water. This is a thing, you can drink too much water. An Indiana mother of 2 who told her family it felt like she couldn't drink enough water to feel saturated collapsed and died from water toxicity. It's a rare consequence of drinking too much water too quickly. Ashley Summers, 35, was out at Lake Freeman with her husband and 2 young daughters over the 4th of July weekend when she began feeling severely dehydrated. She drank 4 bottles of water in 20 minutes, and yeah, it is dangerous. You have to keep hydrated, but don't drink too much. Influencer Andrew Tate released from house arrest while he awaits human trafficking and rape trial. Can't drink too much Guinness. No, because it's got stuff in it that toxifies you, so yeah, it's good. Back to the Future, the musical Broadway review, watch the movie instead. Delightful and delicious, no, it's DeLorean, Back to the Future, the musical, which opened on Thursday night on Broadway, doesn't have much going for it in the way of tuneful songs, show-stopping dancers, or an enthralling storyline. But it does have the star vehicle. Theatre review, Back to the Future, the musical. Basically, the best thing in it is the DeLorean. And let's be honest, they are crap cars. Man suing Buffalo Wild Wings says company doesn't give a shit about its boneless wings complaints. He refused to chicken out. The man who claims the boneless wings at Buffalo Wild Wings are nothing more than chicken nuggets and asked a judge not to throw out his class action lawsuit because it would only fuel the restaurant's disrespect for poultry lovers. Ayman Halman's lawsuit made headlines across the nation since it was filed last March. So yeah, the boneless wings. I mean, you can't have a boneless wing, can you? I did a similar thing when I reviewed. Oh, it was a while ago now, at least a year, not longer. I reviewed vegetarian chicken wings, and you're like, they're not chicken wings. There's no bones in them. They're not. Certainly, they're not what they say on the thing. And my argument was, chicken wings have bones in them, as you can see on the recent cooking video I did, and the secret way of eating the chicken wings without gnawing on a bone for about 5 hours. That sounds wrong. Sounded better in my head. As it did today for a woman who came into my shop, and she asked for a game. We got glass cabinets in the shop, and I put the games in. They're all PlayStation games, and they're all lined up in front of each other, and it's got a glass top on, and then the doors open at the back, and then you reach in and pull them out. But because they're all like that, they're quite difficult to get out. So she said she wanted one at the front, which was near her, but the other end from me. So I had to take a few out, so then lean them down, so then reach in and take it out. And she said, "Oh," she said, I didn't realise it was going to be so difficult for you to do." And I'm like, "No, it's okay." She said, "Oh, I thought you'd just slide it out and grab it." At which point I lost it. I've never done that before in front of a customer, but I absolutely giggled my head off and went bright red. And she thought it was hilarious. Her boyfriend, maybe not so much. I thought he was just going to slide it out and then grab it that way. But that's America for you. Meanwhile, in Australia, g'day sport. What's going on in Australia, mate? I'll be honest with you. Again, not a lot. It's been a quiet week for the news. We're not even an hour in, and we're already on to Australia. Beer prices are going up. It's not just here, it's happening in Australia as well. Aussies to pay more tax on beer. From today, i.e. when this was published, Aussies will need to pay more for a cold one after another, in capital letters, beer tax hike. Yeah. A baby humpback whale has been spotted frolicking alongside its mother off Yamba on the New South Wales north coast. I don't think whales frolic, even if they're baby whales. I don't think they can frolic. But anyway, the drone vision is sparking fresh debate that there could be an albino creature in the wild after the infamous Migaloo, which I assume was another one. Well, they got torn apart by England on Monday. That is true. RBA makes no change to cash rate, so their interest rate remains at 4.1%, which is good for people. Talking of which, England win the fifth Ashes to draw the series 2-2. Now, remember a few weeks ago they were taking the piss out of people in the UK. They had Piers Morgan and various other celebrities heads on babies' bodies with dummies in the mouth because of that unfair, unsportsmanlike wickets that the Australians took. And then this guy, he beat Stuart Broad. He got 600 wickets, test wickets, and they said he was evil and an enemy and all that kind of thing because they can't take a joke. And now they've said that England clutched victory in the fifth Ashes test at the Oval to ensure the series finished locked up at 2-2. Australia lost by only 49 runs in London, but had already retained the urn ahead of the final test, having won the previous Ashes series in Australia in the 2021-22 summer. England's Stuart Broad enjoyed a fitting finale to his legendary career, taking the last 2 Australian wickets to seal the series levelling victory in the final day and the final session. He's now been banned from going to Australia, and they are burning images of him on Australian... No, they're not, and he's not banned. You're asking about the... Hi, Kim. You're asking about the dog. I think he's gone for a drink, actually. But yeah, Japanese man fulfills dream of becoming a dog. That's a man. Now, we had a thing before about the bear. Was the bear a man? No, the bear's a bear. But this dog, is it a dog? No, it's a man dressed like a dog. A Japanese man known only as Toko, or Lassie as he prefers to be known, I made that bit up, has spent 21,000 Australian dollars, so £5, on a hyper-realistic border collie costume to fulfil his childhood dream of wanting to be Lassie. Problem is, Lassie was a girl, so yeah, he better be careful. He might lose more than his dignity if he wants to become, you know. A man hospitalised after plane collides with a horse. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau is investigating a crash after a light aircraft allegedly hit a horse upon takeoff in Brentwood. The 63-year-old pilot was airlifted to hospital with serious injuries, while the passenger escaped unharmed. No news on what happened to the horse. Hopefully the horse was okay too. He's been to a doctor and been diagnosed as being barking mad. There are furries, and then there's that guy. Yes, indeed. Researchers from the Australian Antarctic Programme have made their first expedition of the season, observing a colony of emperor penguins from a safe, far distance. The colony, however, had different plans, waddling over with open flippers to greet their guests. So yeah, they thought, we don't want to interfere with the with the lives of these penguins, so we'll do it from like 100 metres away or whatever, because we've got cameras that can zoom in and all that. And the penguins are like, oh look, let's go and say hello. So the penguins waddle over, and yeah, the whole thing is a complete waste of time. Anyway, it turns out the guy's now sat on 3 eggs. A fisherman catches a 400-kilogram monster off Kagari. I don't know what the hell that is, but that is a big fish. The guy in the background just give you some kind of idea of the size of the thing. It is huge. He did put it back in the water and it swam off afterwards, but it paused for pictures, even opened its mouth for a few of the pictures as well, kind of smiled in a weird fish kind of dead-eye way. Bit like one of my exes. But no, yeah, that's it for Australia, which brings us to the and finally bit. Actually, no, let's stuff that. We'll do the and finally bit at the end. Let's go for breaking news. Do 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 do. Breaking news. Wilko what? Wilko closing down 14 stores days after announcing devastating losses. Whoa, where are these closed? See full list. Right, I'm clicking on it. Let's see these full lists. 14 stores named of imminent closure are the Fort Birmingham, Bournemouth, Shipley, Stockton, Scunthorpe, Narbury Road in Leicester, Rotherham, yeah, it's a shithole anyway, Skegness, Grantham, Merthyr Tydfil, Cleethorpes, Woolwich, Redditch and Clonai in Wales. Wilko was founded in Leicester in 1930, previously announced plans to shut down over a dozen stores last year. Yeah, it's not looking good for Wilko, as I mentioned it earlier on in the general news. But yeah, that's really sad news, especially for the people who work in the aforementioned shops. Clinton Cards, and they've been struggling for a while as well. Clinton Cards is gearing up to close a fifth of its stores as a retailer tries to avoid going bust. It's not going to happen though. The card shop has already shut 156 stores, having been sold back to its US owner through a fast-track insolvency process in December 2019, and the latest move would mean a further 38 of the remaining 179 shops would close. I don't know if it's going to give a list of them. No, it's not. But yeah, another 38 stores closing for Clinton's Cards. It does look shark like, that shark. Sorry, that came out a bit. Lewis Hamilton has been handed a contract blow as FIA accused of... What? Mercedes handed Lewis Hamilton contract blow as FIA accused of cheating. The summer break is now in full swing, with both drivers and team principals making the most of the time off. Red Bull could put their feet up for the next few weeks, but those pushing closer to the gap will need to find that extra something before the season resumes in Zandvoort at the end of the month. Summer break is usually the time when contracts are finalised. The coming season, there's still a number of things to be sorted out, blah blah blah. Lewis Hamilton's future is still not been resolved despite promising updates from Toto Wolff. Williams will need to make a decision on Logan Sargent too, who is struggling to impress in his F1 season. There are 2 more setbacks, blah blah blah, so it doesn't actually tell you what it is, so that's complete non-story. Anything that's upsetting Lewis Hamilton makes me happy. What else is going on? Stacey Dooley heartbroken after TV show pals dies aged 29 after a cancer battle. That's awful. 29. So yeah, that's it for that. Russia-Ukraine war. Moscow promises retaliation over a tanker attack. Joe Pasquale, I nearly died. Joe Pasquale reveals he was involved in an incident involving moose antlers in Skegness. I nearly died. Disappearing clouds blame for crazy rise in the ocean. Freak summer storms leave street covers in foot of hail. Tel Aviv shooting leaves 1 man critically injured. Nick Hulkenberg brings more doom and gloom to F1's decline in Germany. New COVID variant, 2023 symptoms. Government issues warning as ERIS variant spreads. This was 3 hours ago. Simple yoga exercise that can solve common male sex problem. Yeah, okay. Aldi staff were left with that awful feeling of a bag rule that could see customers turned away. Flooded homes evacuated, cars submerged, and roads underwater as Storm Anthony wreaks havoc on southern UK. Why you should never drink water from the bathroom tap. Who drinks water from the bathroom tap? Anyway, that was breaking news. Now we'll go for the and finally. I'll tell you what, it's not just thrown together, this show. Well, yeah, it is. I'll give you that. Have we got many and finalists? No, we haven't got many of these either. So, first one. This is horrendous, to be fair. A tragic post woman dies after being stuck in a tower block lift for 3 days. Post woman Olga Leonotova was found dead in a lift after a power cut in the elevator, leaving the 32-year-old stranded for 3 days as she set off to deliver letters. You think someone had noticed someone not being around for 3 days. Taliban chuckle as they burn musical instruments because they're immoral. Of course they are. Taliban authorities in Afghanistan watched on in glee as a bonfire of musical instruments turned to cinder after claiming they'll corrupt youth, causing them to go astray. Yeah, of course it will. B&Q, you can do it. Maybe not. It's a low bridge. And articulated lorries, big rigs, whatever, don't go through it. Only in Britain. A sign on a window. Please do not open this window. Air conditioning only works when the windows are closed. Underneath, please keep windows open to allow plenty of fresh air in. Genius. Then we've got another quirky one. We know he can swim, but can Canadian Richard Funk, or as they say, can Richard Funk. We know he can swim, But Canny Funk. Yeah, do you get it? No? Yes? No? I think it's funny. I think it's funny. What we're going. Nothing immoral. That picture is the Taliban. Exactly. Luke, couldn't agree more. Meanwhile, Russia fines Wikipedia and Apple for spreading fake information about the Ukraine conflict. Since sending troops into Ukraine in February 22, Russia has enacted an array of measures to punish any criticism or questioning the military campaign. They're basically going to take the whole world to court, including some people in Russia, I would have thought. But anyway, good luck with that. Ancient alien weapon from 3,000 years ago, built with metal not from Earth. An arrowhead originally discovered at Lake Biel in Switzerland in the 19th century was in storage at Bern History Museum when researchers rediscovered it and ran revealing tests to find out it's actually a taser. No. What are you doing? Where have you gone? What are you doing? I don't know what she's doing. Nadine Dorries has now spent more time resigning with immediate effect than Liz Truss spent in power. When Boris resigned, Nadine Dorries said she was going to resign with immediate effect, and that now is further away than when Liz Truss came in power to number 10 and then left number 10. Viz Comic, my Saturday guy, has been introduced to Viz for the first time and couldn't get his head around it. But anyway, this is a top tweet. When I was young, I would have dearly loved to have been a ballerina. However, my dream was not to be, as I never showed any interest in ballet. In fact, I have never liked dancing or of any kind, and I find classical music boring. Genius. I just love stuff like that because it is so clever. And then for the last time, the bear. I've got this picture because people are saying that the bear's bum is basically the saggy costume, and it's like, no, it's because when the bear's on all fours that's tight, but when it stands up it goes all floppy, because that's how bears are like. But yeah, I must admit, when I first saw that picture, I did go, whoa, hang on a minute, that doesn't look right. And then NASA restores contact with Voyager 2 spacecraft after a mistake led to weeks of silence. Not the cat. Well, I think I may have just run over with my chair, but never mind. It took more than 18 hours for the command to reach Voyager 2, more than 12 billion miles away, and another 18 hours to hear back. But they've now got back in contact with Voyager, which took off in the 1970s, if I remember rightly. Oh, everyone's waving again. Yay! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for this week. 1 hour and 8 minutes. It's getting a little bit short, but that's because the news has been dominated by one or two news stories, which, you know, I'm not going to pan out for the sake of panning out. It is what it is. So let's have a look at some stats. We've only had 31 views this week, which is low, but we've not been on for, we've been on for an hour. Normally we're on for an hour and a half, but more often than not, over 2 hours. So it's a shorty one tonight. We've got a chat rate of 2, which is good. We've got 9 viewers at the minute. We've had 5 likes. Thank you. That's unusual. So yeah, no, it's been good. Average duration is 60 minutes and 25 seconds as well, which is pretty damn good. So yeah, it's been great. 11 is the highest number of viewers we had, and that was around about 8:35 for about 10 minutes. It's been averaging 9-10 since then. So yeah, superb. Big shout out to everyone who's contributed to the chat, as we always do. So if you want me to shout out your name, just say hi or hello or something, or do a smiley face or whatever, or wave. Oh. So Smiley Mac, who's now gone out drinking in London, so he'll be skint within about, well, he'll probably be skint by now. He's only been gone half an hour. Luke Williams, JT and Rach. JT, quick reminder, this was a short one tonight, so it's not your break time. He listens to this at work on his headphones. Yeah. Luke again. Alan Barton, Foxstar, Artemis, Kim, and that's it. So yeah, big shout out. Chat rate's come back down to 0. I love it. Oh, got 2 more likes as well, so I appreciate that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, etc, etc, etc. And all being well, I will see you again at some point in the future. Maybe doing a gaming live stream over the weekend. I haven't figured out yet whether I will or not, but yeah, watch this space. And we'll do another What a Week That Was next week. In fact, we'll be back on the 5th of August. No, we won't, that's today. We'll be back on the 12th of August 2023 to do another one of these, and we'll see what a week that was. On my screen here, I'm actually waving to you, so that's how out of date it is. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Oh, I've got a message. Whoa, what's going on? I've got a message. What is it? Oh, I'm now live on YouTube. Madness. What a week that was. 9 people watching, now 10 people watching. I just need to see where you're up to. So yeah, thanks for watching, if indeed you still are. And all being well, I will see you again at some point in the future. Like I said, I'm waiting for this to catch up. Don't you hate adverts on things? Anyway, yeah, I'll be seeing you. I've been watching a lot of The Prisoner this week, so I'll be seeing you. And viewers have got up to 10. That's because I'm watching. So yeah, I will see you again next time. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and bye. I did the bye thing. Oh, shouldn't be doing that. Oh no. You have the box. Oh, The Prisoner, yeah.